Hello, I'm going to walk you through filling out your student growth objective end of year review for a tiered SGO. Your first step is to locate on your My Learning Plan homepage this form. You'll then identify the course and subject, so thank you to Lena for letting us use her tiered SGO as a model. We'll say the course is US 2 and the subject is history. Okay, so you will type that in. The information on this tiered end-of-year review form is pulled from your initial submission that you filled out in September or October, and that was approved by an administrator. All the information is sent to this form, so you'll see this all replicated here. So here's the student growth objective and the strategies, etc. So this form is a little trickier than the single submission, as you could see in another video. So you have to identify, here's the teacher section on this end of year review tiered form. So the preparedness group 1, most people would probably have this as the low group. So you'll type in low. Now, you have to state how many students met the final assessment target. And please state the percentage of students. So out of this group, on the low section, we're going to go back to the initial submission form, and we'll see here that the number of students in group 1 is 8, and the required number for full attainment is 4. So here, state how many students met the final assessment target. We'll say we have full attainment, so 4 students made it. And please state the percentage of students. So we will say 4 divided by 8 is obviously 50%, and we will put 50% right here. Now, the tricky part, kind of, is establishing the weight. So you're going to take the number of students in group 1. So we've established that as 8. And you're going to divide that by the total number of students in this class. So I'm going to go over here, and I see in this class 8 students plus 11 students plus 5 students equals 24 total students. So I am going to bring back my calculator, and I'm going to say 8 divided by 24 equals 33. So I'm going to give this 0.33. So that's the weight of this group. The weight of the 3 groups is going to add up to 100 because it's a weighted average here. So the number of students in group 1, 8, divided by the total number of students, which is 24. Preparedness group 2 will move on, and we'll label this medium, and we'll see how many students met the final assessment target. This, let's say, 7 students met the final assessment target. So I've got to see in the medium group how many kids are in this group, and we have 11. So let's bring up our calculator again, and we'll say 7 divided by 11 equals 63%. So I'm going to say 63%. And you'll see that 7 students is full attainment, and we'll establish the weight for that group as well. So remember, we have 24 students, and in this group there were 11. So 11 students, 11 divided by 24 is 45. So we'll put in 0.45 right here, and then we'll move to preparedness group 3, which is the high preparedness group. Again, we'll repeat these steps. So I'm going to identify how many students met the final assessment target. So let's say we're going for full attainment here, and there's 3 right here. So the percentage of students, so I'll type in 3 met it. We need to establish how many are in this group. So in group number 3, there are 5. So we're going to go and say, what is 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, so that is 60%, which means that you have achieved full. So for the third time, we have to establish the weighting average. So the number of students in group 3 divided by the total number of students in the class or in the SGO population pool, all 3 preparedness groups. So we have 5, so we're going to take 5, and we have 24 total students. So we're going to say 5 divided by 24 is 0.20. So we've now completed all 3 of these groups. So if we look here, the weight, so we have 0.33 plus 0.45 and 0.2 gives us 98. So we can actually round up here, which I think we might do right here, because we had 5 total students in that class. So 5 divided by 24, 0.208, so we'll make this 0.21. And then I think we can probably round up here. This medium group had, let's see, 11 total students. So if we said 11 divided by 24 should be 0.46. So if we add these 3 up, and you want to make sure these add up to 100, or else you're going to lose a tenth or 0.2%. And be forewarned, when I start talking about math, we could all be going downhill very quickly. So 0.33 plus 0.46 plus 0.21, and there's 1. So we have achieved 100. So each group is weighted based on the population of students within that group, and that gives you a fair assessment for your SGO. So this is finished. You've identified each preparedness group, low, medium, high. You've identified how many students met the assessment target, and the percentage, and the weight. Then, when you're finished that, you're going to save and notify. So Lena would notify me and say, John, I'm finished. And save and notify. That form goes to me. When I get that form, I will then have this section, which is the administrator section, which you can't see, but this is how I evaluate the SGO. So I will look at your low group and see that you have 4 and 4, and that's full, and I will click here, and that will determine the score that you'll see here. So you'll see that you receive a weighted score, which is all added together. So we know that this sample, everything is full. So I click all 3 of these, and there's the weighted score, and the tiered result is a 3. So this will change. These numbers, if your SGO groups are different, these numbers will start to change the final tiered result. So it's a 2.67 now. So all 3s mean it's a 3. If you are exceptional here and here, you have a 3.79. So this number does change based on what you input in these SGO preparedness groups. So when the administrator gets this information and inputs it here, they will submit the form, and that will go to the summative performance report just like it did in the single model, and that will determine your final rating or help determine your final rating at 15%. So that's it. Not too difficult. Just remember you have to become pretty good at determining percentages and be aware of the weights adding up to 100, and you are on your way. Thank you very much.